85% of partners prefer a man who is groomed below the waist, and 96% of partners think bad grooming is a major turn-off. That's where Manscaped have come in to help us all out, including myself, lads. The Lawnmower 4.0 is a trimmer specifically designed with our crown jewels in mind. It has skin-safe technology to reduce those nicks and cuts and gives you the maximum confidence while trimming below the waist. It's also IPX7 waterproof rated, so you can operate in wet or dry conditions. It has a premium 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology and a massive 90-minute battery time, which is supported by its wireless electromagnetic charging function. With the Performance Package 4.0, you'll get the Crop Reviver with witch hazel and powerful odor defense. This keeps your balls protected after a good shave. Crop Preserver with its soothing aloe vera and advanced quick absorbing cream, keeping your balls feeling fresh and hydrated. And the Weed Whacker to trim ear and nose hair. The Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to keep you the most groomed man in the room. Use our code XTRA20 XTRA20 at checkout and you'll save yourself 20% off your order and receive free international shipping. Yes, people, how we doing? Welcome back to another stream, and football is back, baby! Come on, man, fucking buzzing. This last 2 weeks has been the deadest fucking period of my life, man. I hate fucking international breaks, man. They're so shit. I just really fucking don't like them, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about you, innit, but I don't know. But what are you saying? As a person following Ireland, yeah, is it any different for you?
It's the exact same. It's the exact same as it is for you, bro. I support the same club. We enjoy the same things, you know? Now, listen, man, you can tell. You can tell football's back. There's nearly 300 man in the building already. We haven't had that start of a stream in a while. So people are raring and ready to go, man. Smash the likes if you're excited for football coming back, man, and for City to get the dub tomorrow. Listen, I'm buzzing, man. I'm buzzing. I can't wait.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm ready for this. We've just had the press conference from Pep Guardiola, the first part of the press conference, and then we'll get the later embargoed section tonight at 10:30. So make sure you're following City Extra on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And then when the embargoed section of the comments come out from the press conference, which to be honest are usually like the more juicy stuff, you can get them straight to your phone, PC, whatever, through them social media platforms by following City Extra. So make sure you get on that. We're going to go through what Pep Guardiola has already said in the press conference today, have a little bit of a chat about it, and then the main preview will be tonight when we can get everyone in. Obviously, people at work and not everyone can join the stream, and we'll go through starting 11s, score predictions, and much more about the game. But this is mainly about the press conference. But before we get into the press conference, bro, I always ask Jordan this question, right? But how are you feeling ahead of tomorrow's game right now? Obviously, it's early kickoff tomorrow, so I mean, by this time tomorrow, the game will nearly be over or be pretty much over by this point. So, I mean, how are you feeling about going into the game tomorrow?
I hate the early kickoff, man. I hate the early kickoff because it just means for me, if I'm traveling to the game or I'm doing a watch along like we are tomorrow, I'm up there early, man. I'm up there early. I got a flight at 8 a.m. tomorrow to get over for the watch along, but I'm excited. I'm just excited for football to be back, man. Like I've been saying it all week. I just want to see City look the same way they did before the international break. I'm eager to see it again. I don't want to see a drop off. I want to pick up where we left off. And based off the manager's comments, which we're going to get into, I think that's what he wants. I think he's raring ready to go. He's talking about these next 2 months being huge, and they are. They're absolutely huge. But listen, tomorrow's game, it's City Liverpool, but it's different because they're not the same as they used to be. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, you know what as well? I know we've had a lot of talk this week in the Avengers show and shows that me, you, and Jordan have done throughout the week, in that this is a good time to play Liverpool and stuff. And another reason I think it's a good time to play Liverpool is that, like, I'm not just thinking about the fact that we're playing Liverpool. I'm thinking about, as I said just when we started the stream, then the fact that football's back. I'm excited for the game to be back. I'm excited for City to be back. I feel like if this game came 2 or 3 weeks' time, I wouldn't have that excitement anymore because football's already been back for that period. So then I'd just be thinking, oh shit, we're playing Liverpool. So I feel like I'm kind of getting like a little benefit of having Liverpool because I'm not just thinking about, oh my God, we're playing Liverpool. I'm just excited for Man City to be back, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's obviously positive stuff. Of course, Huey's joining me on a watch along tomorrow, getting a flight out early doors from Dublin. So yeah, make sure you join us for tomorrow's watch along because it's going to be sick. Can't wait for it. But yeah, let's get into it then. Pep Guardiola speaking ahead of tomorrow's game at 12:30 kickoff. Remember, guys. The first question, as you guys could probably imagine, no real shocks, were about the injuries. Obviously, we've got Erling Haaland with an injury, and we've got Phil Foden with the injury. First up, Phil Foden. Pep Guardiola says that the doctors have told him that it's going to be around 2 to 3 weeks recovery time. Now, if you remember when we did the stream on Phil Foden, the NHS website said it could take a maximum of 6 weeks. Eric Dyer took 6 weeks. I think Luka Modric had it, and he was only out for 2 weeks. So it sounds like Phil Foden is probably at the lower end of the recovery time, but still 2 to 3 weeks out. And if we do the maths on that, what date are we on? We're currently on the first. We're probably looking at. Will he be back for the Bayern Munich second leg? Possibly. It's the semi-final against Sheffield United FA Cup. That's on the 22nd. I would think that he might be back for that one. But yeah, it's going to be like Bayern Munich away, Sheffield United in the FA Cup, or maybe even Arsenal at home on the 26th of April. The games that he's going to miss Liverpool, he's going to miss Southampton, he's going to miss Bayern Munich, he's going to miss Leicester City. And then again, like I say, will he miss then he's into the sort of, is he going to be back? So, I mean, not the worst news possible, Hugh, but still a blow, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a massive blow because we kind of expected it, didn't we? We were just waiting for the confirmation from the manager himself to say how long he'd be out for. But listen, 2-3 weeks isn't the worst. And like I said, when we first found out this news, it's no one's fault. It's no one's fault. It's not as if, he was reckless in training or he got smashed in a match. It's Mother Nature doing her thing, and it's just unfortunate. But on that Bayern away game, I think there's different rules apply when you're traveling. I don't think you can fly for a month when you get your appendix out or something like that because of the altitudes and all that. I don't know about the sciences now, but I've heard things like that. So my gut feeling is it'll be whatever game is straight after Bayern away. That's when I'd be looking at seeing Phil Foden. I'd be more confident of seeing Phil Foden, but yeah, you know what? It's a blow, man. It's a blow because he's playing so well before, wasn't he?
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate time. And as you say, it's no one's fault. Shit happens. It's life, innit? But yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, he's going to miss some big games. At least he's going to be back he should be back for the Arsenal game, and then he should be in for the last 6 Premier League games, which will be nice. But it just puts strain and stress on our wingers now, because again, and this is another reason I said we should have signed a winger in the summer, is because now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 6 games that we've literally just got Grealish and Mahrez. Now, of course, we do have Cole Palmer, we have Bernardo Silva who can play on the right. Maybe when Haaland's back, we might have to see Alvarez play on the right-hand side as well. But it's just going to put a lot of pressure on Jack Grealish and on Mahrez, because obviously we've lost our other winger. So them guys are going to have to perform a lot in the games that we've got coming up.
I think you'll see more of Bernardo Silva on the right wing. I think that'll be used a lot more now over the next 6 weeks. I also think on that signing a winger thing last summer, my feeling is that Pep and the club thought Cole Palmer was going to be slightly more reliable or a bit further along in his progression than he is right now. So he's obviously not. Like, I wouldn't be putting Cole Palmer out in the Champions League game. I probably wouldn't be putting him out in even against Southampton or Leicester unless we're battering them 2 or 3-0. Then I'd say, right, take off Mahrez or Grealish or whoever. But I could see Bernardo. Didn't he play right wing at some point against Arsenal, then the Emirates, and he's played there a few times this year as well. So I could see that being used, and then Gundogan takes up that main role at number 8 in midfield. But it's just about Pep putting his pieces together depending on the game. But I would imagine you're right that Grealish and Mahrez, most of the stress will be put on them. But we have to have faith, man. We have to have faith in those two, because you know what? They have delivered. I don't think it's the most optics-wise easy on the eye to watch Grealish and Mahrez. I don't think it's the most beautiful football when they play together, but they have been effective. They've both come up with big goals so far this season, and they have worked at times too. So we'll just have to hope they stand up, like we said this week, didn't we? We need players to stand up. We need players to stand up now with Foden being out. So take your chance.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, where Cole Palmer might actually come in here is if in any of these games that we luckily managed to find our way into sort of a 2 to 3-0 position, maybe that's when Cole Palmer will get some minutes. Again, maybe a bit similar to Phillips. I don't expect Phillips to start against Liverpool, Southampton, Bayern Munich, Leicester, Bayern Munich. I don't expect him to start any of those games, right? But where he's going to come in my opinion, quite important, is that he might have to come on for the last 20 minutes to save the energy of Rodri, because you can't play Rodri 90 minutes in every single one of them games. And it might be the same with Cole Palmer, in the sense that if we can get 2 or 3-0 up against any of those teams, and I know we've got difficult fixtures, but I'm looking at Leicester, I'm looking at Southampton, even if it's just 1 or 2 games in that 5 to 6 game block where you can maybe take off Grealish or you can take off Mahrez and throw Cole Palmer on, the same with Rodri and Calvin Phillips, then that could be huge, right? Because if you can just save that little bit of energy from the player, I think that's where we're going to have to be. I don't see Cole Palmer starting any games, but he might have a big part in sort of that rotation play in the sort of the last 20 minutes. So, massive pressure on the 2 wingers. Not in terms of they've got to deliver. Of course, they've got to deliver, but just in terms of they're going to be playing so many games, and we don't really have the rotational players. Big up to Benno with a super chat. It says, I'm in bed with COVID since Tuesday. Hope I'm okay for tomorrow. Get well soon, Benno. I know that COVID and the flu's going round again, man. Obviously, Hugh had it last week and that. So, get well soon, pal. Yeah, and just plenty of rest in it. Plenty of water and rest, bro. Carl with the 20 knocks says, I feel 54 to 46 without Haaland and 70 to 30 with Haaland. Well, funny enough, Carl, let's come on to Erling Haaland. Obviously, you're clearly, as per the super chat, not as confident without Haaland, which I guess is a fair and reasonable statement. The update on Erling Haaland is this. Pep Guardiola says, we're going to see at the end of today. At the end, the doctors and the players will decide how Erling Haaland feels. I spoke with him. He feels good, but we will see. Life is a risk in these stages. We have to take it. City are training today at 4 p.m. So they're having a slightly later training session than usual. And that's when they will decide. We already know for the previous 2 days, Erling Haaland done like a one-on-one training or work in the gym or whatever. So he's not completely out of the question, but they're going to decide later on. And Pep Guardiola, and this is what I've kind of been talking about, the risk and reward. We're in this sort of situation now where Pep has to think about, do I gamble? Do I gamble with Erling Haaland tomorrow? If I play him, there's obviously he might do min, he might score me a goals. What are the risks? Well, the risks are that he could aggravate the injury and he could be out for even longer. or the risks are that he's not fully fit and therefore he just performs really poorly. For example, if you remember at Harry Kane in the Champions League final, Pochettino risked Harry Kane. Guy clearly wasn't fit. He actually had a negative impact on Tottenham's team, in my view, because he wasn't fit and it impacted the team. But obviously, if it worked, it was worth the gamble. So what does Pep Guardiola do tomorrow? What do we do tomorrow? I personally bench Haaland, play Alvarez, and if you need him for the final 30 minutes, say it's 0-0 or you need a goal, throw him on. I just don't think it's worth the risk with the Champions League games coming up against Bayern Munich. Where you at, bro?
I don't think it changed anything. Pep Guardiola's comments today. I think he was always going to be in contention to play the game. I think the fact that he trained yesterday and he's going to do a full training session today with the squad, by the sounds of it, it changes nothing. But you're right. Like, do you want to risk him? Do you want to deploy him? I'm not sure. I think I'd hold off and play him on the bench.
Well, I've just put a poll in the chat, guys, because I'm interested to know what you guys are saying on this one. Do you want to play Haaland tomorrow, risk him, or do you want to rest him? There is a week off. We do have a week off after tomorrow's game, so you could play
I think
him.
Pep knows what he's doing, bro. I think Pep knows what he's doing. He's doing those mind games we talked about during the week, and whether you think it's true or not, he is. He's basically sitting there making Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool really unsure. Do we prepare for Haaland? Do we prepare for Alvarez? Because it's obviously a massive, massive thing they have to work for, and they would have been training all week. They would have been looking at Haaland footage, saying, "How can we set up defensively to nullify this guy? Do we even put any energy and time into looking at Alvarez and try and plan for him? We don't know because Pep's not giving us a sniff." All the news this week would suggest that Haaland is probably fit to play, but we just don't know. So it's giving Liverpool something else to think about.
Yeah, no, 100%. So do you think he's already made his decision, Pep?
I think Pep knew from whatever the first meeting they had during the week was that Haaland would play on the bench. I think if it was as serious as maybe some people thought it was, he wouldn't even be part of the talks. He'd just shoot it down. He's not playing. He's done that before. He's done that before with players who are slightly in contention. We're not too sure. He says, "Nah, he won't play." I also think Pep's too smart. I don't think Pep would risk playing Erling Haaland. He knows how crucial Haaland is going to be for the next 2 months.
Interesting. Guys, keep your votes coming in on the poll. We've got over 500 people watching. Obviously, only 150 votes so far on that poll. So make sure you have your say in the poll. It's in the chat section. Vote for free. That's a pay. Make sure you smash a like on the stream if you've not done so already, guys. Let's get those likes past 200. We need 10 people out of 500 to hit that thumbs up button to get us over 200 likes. And a big up to Manscaped. They've sponsored today's stream. Remember, guys, you can get an extra 20% off your entire order and free international shipping by going to manscaped.com and using code XTRA20. That's XTRA20 at checkout there for your discount. Yeah, I just want to stick on this Haaland thing just a little bit longer before we move on, because obviously we've got the poll running and that. For the people who maybe are saying, yes, risk him, I would imagine that those people are the people that are saying, if we don't win tomorrow, it's over. I don't think if we don't win tomorrow, it's over. I think it becomes a real tricky situation. I think it becomes a massive uphill battle. I think it's unlikely that we'll win the title if we don't win tomorrow. Provided obviously Arsenal beat Leeds, right? But I don't think it's over. I think that the people who are saying risk Haaland, and maybe the people who are saying, nah, you know what, if we don't win tomorrow, I think we've lost. And that's maybe why they're looking for Haaland to be risked. So, but by saying you'd start him on the bench as well, are you then saying that you don't think the league is over if we lose tomorrow or draw tomorrow?
Not at all, no. I don't think if we drop points tomorrow, it's finished whatsoever. I think there's far too many twists and turns to come in this title race. I think Arsenal fans, a lot of them that I speak to, they seem to be convinced for some reason, a lot of them, that they're only looking at 3 or 4 games that they could possibly drop points. They're saying Newcastle away, I think it's Chelsea, City and Liverpool. Those 4 games seem to be the only ones they believe they could drop points. And if they win those games, they'll win the league. And I'm saying from my own experience, and we've done this before loads of times in title races, it's the teams you least expect that give you the most headaches and the most problems. You go into a certain game, you think on paper it should be straightforward, but it's not. It doesn't turn out that way. Wolves, we went 1-0 down. We had to claw back and win that. Last day of the season, Aston Villa, Brighton, West Ham away last year. So many games where you're thinking City should go in and win that game easily, but it doesn't work out that way. And that's something Arsenal are going to have to deal with. I don't think for one second that Leeds game they have is entirely straightforward. Like I said, on paper it should be, but you just don't know at this stage of the season. yes, it puts us in a pretty difficult position, doesn't it? If we drop points tomorrow and they beat Leeds, all of a sudden it's a big psychological blow. You're looking at, what is it? At the worst, 11 points, and I think if we draw, it can be 10 points. That's tough. That's a very, very uphill battle. But I just think there's so many twists and turns to come. A game in hand, they have to come to the Etihad. I said on the Big Six last night, or maybe it was another show, that the way I look at it is, I don't care who they play or what they're doing up until our game at the Etihad. I don't care if they win all their games up to then. I'm just focused on us winning all our games to that, including that. Win our game at the Etihad and everything before that. That's when I'm thinking Arsenal could drop points the most. Whatever they have after that becomes serious, serious pressure for them if we beat them in the Etihad. So it's not finished, but I'm in agreement. It's an uphill battle, man. It's tough.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Well, let's have a look at what else Pep Guardiola's been saying then in the press conference. He has been speaking about Liverpool. He was asked about, are Liverpool our biggest rivals still, despite their position? Pep Guardiola said this on Liverpool. He said, we know each other for many, many years. So one more, they remain an exceptional team despite their position. He then said, the best approach is to take each game one at a time, which is maybe boring, but we have a tough schedule after this week. We are in all competitions, and that is awesome. That is so good. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not actually usually normally like that. People who watch the channel regularly will know that I'm always like fucking planning out like, oh, we got this game, then that game, then that guy. I love doing all that kind of shit. But I'm obviously I'm still doing that. I'm not saying I've completely changed from that, but like, I am trying to take it more of a one game at a time approach, because I just think with the games that we have, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Southampton away, which we always do shit at Southampton, Leicester, who despite how bad they've been this season, they've still got dangerous players, and they'll play counter-attacking football, and we struggle to beat them in the away leg. You then got Bayern Munich again. You got difficult games. You got Arsenal. So I'm trying to keep it one game at a time. But obviously, I do like to go ahead because I like to see where we can be strong and where the key moments are. But I think Pep is right. You got to stick one game at a time, innit?
People find it boring when people say that on shows and that kind of thing. Oh, one game at a time, one game at a time. But it's because you have respect for this stage of the season. You fully respect what this stage of the season can throw at you. Like I said, I think the worst mistake you can make in a title race is look at your last 10 fixtures and assess some of them and go, yep, that's guaranteed 3 points. That one, that's guaranteed 3 points. That one. So let's just focus on these games and that game. I think that's a massive mistake. So I'm very much with you. Take it one game at a time and assess and analyze every single game as if it's a Champions League final. And that's exactly what Pep Guardiola will do. He'll make every single player in that squad believe every game we play over the next 10 weeks, whatever it is, 8 weeks, that they're all Champions League finals. And that's all you can do, really.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree. Big up to Carl again with the super chat. Says, what do we want? What do we fans want most, the Premier League or the Champions League? Well, I'm not going to tell you the answer to that because there's a video uploaded on the channel that was uploaded last week, Carl. So people are free to whack their answers in the chat. But if you want to, we did a full video on this last week. So go check it out. So just go to our YouTube channel, go to videos, and it'll literally be like one of the last 5 videos uploaded. So go and check that out. Thank you very much for the super chat. And people answer Carl in the chat. What do you want most, the Premier League or the Champions League? Cade with the 9 says, I think if we win 2-0, Kev Goal and Spider-Man and Kevin Jack to get an assist and ruin Liverpool's top 4 hopes. Yeah, of course, Liverpool, are still battling for that top 4 position. They're currently in 6th. Got 2 games in hand over Tottenham, winning both of them, and they're 1 point behind Spurs. Obviously, Spurs sacking the manager. So, going to be interesting top 4 battle. You still got Newcastle in there. You still got Brighton, who shouldn't be. Brighton are actually on level on points with Liverpool with the game in hand. So they win all their game in hand, and they're actually in the top 4. So it's a very, very interesting top 4 battle, as is the Premier League title race and as is the relegation zone. So very, very exciting all around. Let's continue then. Pep Guardiola said about Liverpool, he said, I respect them immensely. They can beat everyone, just like we can beat everyone. He was then asked about sort of the players that City have and what he's going to do. He says, football is the quality of the players. Erling Haaland has his skills. Julian Alvarez has his skills, but it depends. Most of the players only came back yesterday. We have incredible physios, sports scientists, doctors, but injuries happen at this stage of the season. All the players are going to be involved. And this again comes back to the points about Calvin Phillips. It comes back to the points maybe about Cole Palmer, that everyone's going to have their part to play, right? We can't just go through now to the rest of the season playing the same starting 11 and not making any subs. Pep is going to have to rotate. he's going to have to make substitutions. Maybe not tomorrow because we've got a week off, but certainly starting from next week, he's going to have to be rotating. And he's absolutely spot on. Every single player in this squad has a part to play. And yeah, I mean, the fact that the players only come back yesterday, I know it's the same for every club, but isn't exactly ideal. With us playing early kickoff tomorrow. But I guess you can't really make excuses, right? Liverpool are going to be in the same position. Every other team's going to be in the same position. So we just have to deal with it, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. You can't change, or you can't work around. The players are given an assigned date to come back, and that's when you have to plan for working with them again. But on the rotation thing, I think you're spot on, and I think that's probably maybe the number one thing that Liverpool fell down on over the years against us was they didn't rotate enough. They kind of rinsed the same starting 11 year in, year out, to the point where the team just got burnt out by the time it really mattered. And we take great pride in the fact that our team clicks at the right time. We stay in the title race all season. We stay within contention. And then boom, when it really matters, our team is fresh, raring, and ready to go. And that's what I think Pep is very conscious of. So you're spot on when you say that everybody's going to have a part to play, because if we can take Rodri off for half an hour if we're 2-0 up against a Southampton or a Leicester, or we can take a Mahrez off for half an hour, 25 minutes, that's huge. That's a massive, massive thing to get them even that half an hour extra, that 15, 20 minutes extra rest that they wouldn't have got otherwise. So players like Calvin Phillips, Cole Palmer, they need to be ready to come in when called upon and do a good service. And even players like Bernardo Silva, who are versatile, they need to be ready to play an array of positions if needs be, to give someone else a bit of a break as well. So everybody's absolutely huge. This is where you show your squad depth.
100%. I mean, I'm going to because there's not really too many more comments actually on the press conference, so I'm just going to get the squad list up here, because I want to go through this squad list and see sort of what players could be quite crucial in that sort of rotation. Of course, Edison's going to start most of the games now going to the end of the season. Obviously, Ortega might get in the FA Cup semi-final, but Edison should be chill there. I mean, defensively, we're looking very, very strong defensively. Probably the strongest that we've looked all season. Obviously, we've got Walker's fit, Diaz is fit, Stones is fit, Ake's fit, Cancelo's on loan. Laporte is fit, out of favour, but he'll still have a part to play. He'll still have a part to play in this season for sure. Sergio Gomez, again, like Sergio Gomez, for example, the fact that we're the fact that we've only got one winger in Cole Palmer that can actually come on at the moment while Phil Foden is out injured. Again, if we find ourselves 2-3-0 up against Southampton or 2-3-0 up against Leicester, which again, not easy, and not saying we will 100% do that. Maybe Sergio Gomez could come on, maybe fill in at fullback. Maybe he'll put him as a winger. Sergio Gomez has played as a winger before and still plays in an attacking sort of position when he plays for the under-21s at Spain sometimes. So again, everyone's got the part to play. Rico Lewis is there as well. He's not really featured too much over the last few games. I think Kyle Walker's getting in there, but again, he'll probably feature. He'll come in and do his bit. Will we see him in midfield? We know that he's played midfield in the past. Will we see him in midfield? Because a position that I think that we actually are quite weak in is more of an attacking midfield position. Because if you look at Rodri, you can take him off and maybe put Calvin Phillips on. Right, that's fine. Jack Grealish is a winger. Mahrez is a winger. Mahrez is with the attackers. Ilkay Gundogan and obviously Bernardo Silva will rotate, but we've not really got anyone else who can go in there. Maybe Perone might get some minutes. I know a lot of people in the streams have been like, when are we going to see Perone? When are we going to be seeing Perone? Maybe we'll see Perone come on for Kevin De Bruyne again if we find ourselves 2-3-0 up in a game. Maybe we'll see him. That's really, I think, the weakest position for us other than the wingers. Of course, Haaland and Alvarez are fine. I think it's the attacking midfielder and the wingers is where we kind of lacking a little bit of depth. Everywhere else, I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think the likes of Perone, you could probably throw him into that category I'm talking about, that if you're 2, maybe 3 for Perone with a push, nil up, you put him on because you want to be able to take those players off. And in defense, I'm looking mainly at Laporte there. I'm looking at Laporte because he hasn't been in favor. He should be fit. He should be fresh. He should be raring to go. And I'm thinking as well, if we're 2 or 3-0 up, or even 1 or 2-0 up, I'd love to take someone like Ruben Diaz, John Stones, and Nathan Ake off, because I don't want to rinse them. I don't want to overdo them or risk getting them an injury just as it really starts to matter. So everybody, man, absolutely everyone in the squad, I think, is going to play minutes between now and the end of the season, as long as we're not sweating every single game and we're fighting right to the 90th minute for every single game, which I'd like to think we won't be. Then absolutely everybody will. And And we spoke about that Sheffield United game, that cup game. I think that's a game where you have to rotate as much as possible. Maybe some of those players that you spoke about that can fill in, to give players a rest for 20, 25 minutes. Maybe they should start that Sheffield United game, because the way I look at it is, if you're not good enough to play a game like that and win it for Manchester City, you're not good enough to be in the Manchester City squad. Simple as. You should be able to come in and do at least a serviceable enough job to win a game of that level. So yeah, it's up to Pep, man.
Certainly is. Certainly is. It's going to be an interesting time. Like I say, we've got this game tomorrow, 12:30, a week off, and then it's pedal all the way to the floor. Game every 3 days, massive games. Tough matches, a lot of aways in there as well. So it's going to be a madness. But yeah, that is the press conference reaction. As I say, get all the embargoed section on City Xtra Twitter account, Instagram, and Facebook. Make sure you're following on there. That news comes out at 10:30 UK time tonight. Usually get some juicy stuff in there as well, so it is worth checking out. Me and Hugh will be live later on doing the main preview. We will go through the starting 11, score predictions, tactical analysis, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a madness. First game back after the international break. I'm looking forward to it, and we can get everyone in. The reason we don't do that now is because it's obviously midday and there'll be loads of people working. So we try and do it later on in the evening so everyone can join us. Anything else to say, bro?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to chatting about it in more depth later on, the proper preview, talk about the tactics and who we'd like to see play where and all that kind of thing. Because it's getting serious now, people. So make sure you're there yourselves and chip in with your thoughts on who you'd like to see play where and where you think we can attack Liverpool and where we can cause them problems and vice versa. Where can they cause us problems? Because we do know over the years, man, they have enough players that can, on a one-off occasion, can stand up and really cause trouble for us. So it's not straightforward, man. But we'll get into all the ins and outs of it later on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. Big up to Manscaped. Let's finish off with maximum spam in the chat. Fruit or vegetables of your choice. And well, guys, we will see you later on. See you in a bit. 85% of partners prefer a man who is groomed below the waist, and 96% of partners think bad grooming is a major turn-off. That's where Manscaped have come in to help us all out, including myself, lads. The Lawnmower 4.0 is a trimmer specifically designed with our crown jewels in mind. It has skin-safe technology to reduce those nicks and cuts and gives you the maximum confidence while trimming below the waist. It's also IPX7 waterproof rated, so you can operate in wet or dry conditions. It has a premium 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology and a massive 90-minute battery time, which is supported by its wireless electromagnetic charging function. With the Performance Package 4.0, you'll get the Crop Reviver with witch hazel and powerful odor defense. This keeps your balls protected after a good shave. Crop Preserver with its soothing aloe vera and advanced quick absorbing cream, keeping your balls feeling fresh and hydrated. And the Weed Whacker to trim ear and nose hair. The Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to keep you the most groomed man in the room. Use our code XTRA20 XTRA20 at checkout and you'll save yourself 20% off your order and receive free international shipping.